All right, I wanted to make a quick little video to hold you over since we won't be getting together for quite some time. So I didn't want too many things to kind of slip under the cracks between now and when we get together for our lesson. The first thing is going to be the prong collar. I'm gonna go ahead and pack it with her stuff to go home just so you have it. I use the prong collar just to help communicate with her, give her enough information, place, and help her respond appropriately to different forms of leash pressure. Especially since she's kind of like a sensitive dog. I found that she really learned how to like dive into the leash to get from point A to point B the quickest with the least amount of like stressors along the way. So the prong collar just kind of helped communicate with her like, this is where I want you to be without causing too much frustration. So the prong collar is going to be training tool only, meaning you're taking her on walks, you're working on something specific. It's always going to be on under supervision. No playing with other dogs with it on, and no leaving her in a crate or unsupervised with the prong collar on, just to avoid pressure sores and to avoid it getting snagged on things like teeth or whatever. Place. So to take it on and off, you're going to take it apart from any of the links. I usually will avoid the throat plate right here just because it's really hard to get back into those little guys. So you're gonna take a prong, you're going to create like a pinch motion with your finger on the prong that you want to take out, and then your thumb on the little horseshoe shape of the prong in front of it. Pinch till those little arches come up, grab, pop it out like that. Then you'll wrap around her neck, making sure that the chain part is not tangled, match those guys back up into their holes, and then the leash will attach to the loop that swivels. Good girl. And this one is already appropriately sized. One place, good girl. We want it to be just resting on the neck and not applying constant pressure, but also not so loose that it's dangling down by her shoulders. I want it to be about mid to high neck as far as where we want it on her neck. Good. When we're utilizing that, it is really important that we're mindful of how we're applying pressure. So it's really only used, I personally use it as more so negative reinforcement, where I'm applying a little bit of pressure, tension in the leash to ask for something. And then as soon as we have the behavior that I want from her, the pressure goes away and then we go back into that reward. So it's either gonna be good or I'm gonna say YES and pay. Just to kind of show her pressure, annoyance when I don't like what you're doing, pressure release, and good stuff, at least an acknowledgement of it through a verbal reward that I do like it. Yeah, good girl. And then, okay, when we're done I can't talk, done with whatever it is that she's doing. An important thing that I like to remember with her and all dogs is to remember to always follow through with the thing that we're looking for. Be consistent. Make sure that no means no, otherwise it means try harder. So that's really where that leash, the prong collar, plays a huge role. Is if she's dragging or trying to do something, we can communicate with her effectively and stop something. Nope, place. Nope. I know he's making noises over there. Good girl. If we say no and then she pulls or does something that she wants to do and she's successful, then that teaches her, instead of stopping it, it teaches her to, shows her what level she has to get to be successful. So we want to really make sure that we're consistent with following through with things for relationship and for clarity purposes, not to be alpha or in charge. It's just to create that good sense of clarity so she knows what her expectations are, where her boundaries, all of that stuff. And it's a really great tool to help with interrupting arousal, especially since she's such a young puppy and she's super social. I use it to kind of help guide her back into a calmer mindset. So she's getting really worked up and amped up and wanting to go do something, I can kind of bring her back into my space, light little tap until she's calm again and settling down. Good girl. I know, you're very sweet, Angel. It's just, we want to make sure we're helping her make better choices by being consistent with establishing good, healthy habits. Not hablets. I don't know what hablets are. Good girl. Okay. If she's going to be greeting people, We already know that she's very social, and her choice of a greeting is going to be just doing what she wants to do. It feels good. So we want to put her on a leash so we can help her make better decisions without us getting overly vocal or trying to reach at her and do all of the movements, which are going to add to her excitement. So the leash is going to be, nope, there to kind of pull her back into our space to keep her from jumping up and being crazy. So anytime she starts getting overly wiggly and overly social, no, bring her back over here when she settles down and when she really honestly stops caring about being invasive. I don't know, that's not really a word I would use. When she's much more neutral to the situation, then I let her go back to hanging out and being part of a social situation. Most of the other stuff is going to be us going over things in person. I really want you to be able to utilize this prong collar to communicate with her, and to help her make good decisions and create new habits, so that between now and when we do get together, she's not just being an unruly puppy and then we have to start all back over, right? Again, mindful with how much pressure we apply with the prong collar, and that we're using it correctly, where if she's digging into it or we need to use it, we're continuing that pressure. You can add little taps. We're never dragging, and we're never allowing like constant tension. I want it to be like if she's leaning into it and fighting it, tap, 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 tap to add a little bit of movement. That's gonna stay on. Like we're gonna keep utilizing that, whatever that pressure source is, until we have the behavior that you want. One other note that I would like to point out is that she's really not a fan of cars. So that's the big thing that I noticed where she kind of loses a little self-preservation and is wonky with the prong collar, is if there's a lot of traffic or we're like walking past a car that's on. She kind of typically wants a little bit of space, and I'll allow that. Like I'm not going to let her drag me away, but I will make it a point to put myself between her and the trigger, which in this situation would be the car, so that she feels a little bit more confident that I'm not going to force her to go, be in front of a moving car or something like that. All right,
Nina, what are you doing?
just being a good girl. We'll go over all the commands and all of that stuff when we get together. I guess I could do them real quick. Okay, come here.
Okay, Nina,
Sit. Good. Down.
good.
Okay. And then we have let's go, which is our heel. Let's go. Short but loose leash. Let's go. Good. It's going to be slack and neutral unless I need to fix a position. I want her yielding out of my way. Good. When we stop, I ask her to go into a sit. Good. Place. Very good. Good.
What happened, girl?
Nina, come.
You're doing me so brave.
Come on. Nina, come. Go ahead. Sit. Yes.
I can't jump over that thing. It was pretty. It's so scary.
All right. We're all done.
You're so silly.